Here's everything you need to know about the ninth house within your natal chart. The ninth house in traditional astrology is called Theos, or the house of God, which is one of the reasons why, traditionally speaking, the ninth house has always been associated with religion. The ninth house is the terrestrial house of joy of the sun, who represents father figures in general, but who also represents the singular masculine deity within many monotheistic or patriarchal religious systems. The ninth house is a house of religion, of foreign travel, and of higher education. In a sense, all things that expand our mind and that also expand our relationship to the world around us. It has been said that the third house is what we say, whereas the ninth house is what we hear, as well as what we're willing to listen to. Therefore, from the perspective of our own religiosity, the ninth house represents what we're willing to believe, as well as the teachers we're willing to follow in a spiritual sense. The ninth house is considered to be the house of the perpetual student, and usually when someone has the rule of their ascendant in the ninth house, it represents someone who has dedicated themselves to a life of constant learning and exploration. Also, it's been said that when people have the rule of their ascendant in their ninth house, it's someone who came out of the womb with a suitcase in their hand, ready and willing to see the wider world outside and beyond of the environment in which they were born. The ninth house is also the house of astrology, prophecy, and dream interpretation, and one of our ancient Western astrologers, Firmicus Maternus, is noted for having said that if a person has the ruler of their ascendant in the ninth house, then that person is likely to be someone who will rise to becoming either the prophet or the advisor to the king. Whereas the third house is seen as being the house of indigenous spirituality, the ninth house is seen as being the house of organized religion. However, people who have roots and connections to indigenous forms of spirituality very often find themselves with a very emphasized ninth house within their natal charts. Within our Chaldean order of Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon, we find ourselves coming back to Jupiter in the ninth house. Jupiter, who is a god of philosophy, higher education, spirituality, and all things that expand the mind. In medical astrology, the ninth house is having to do with our femur bones and the powerful thigh and hip muscles that surround it, that allow us to mobilize ourselves to far distant places within the world. Very often when we have the ruler of the seventh house in the ninth house, or the ruler of the ninth house in the seventh house, it can indicate us either marrying someone who we met in university or in a higher educational capacity, or it can indicate that our long-term intimate partner is going to be someone who we meet from abroad or someone who's from a foreign country other than the one that we're born in. To receive a free sample chapter of my book, Mastering Traditional Astrology, set to be published in spring 2023, sign up for my newsletter down below where you'll also gain access to other giveaways as well as free lectures from my private masterclass series. If you've enjoyed this video on the ninth house, then you definitely want to check out my next video on the 10th house.